English scientists. Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton was a great English scientist. He was born in 1642 in a little village, Lincolnshire. Newton's father was a farmer and died before his son's birth. When Newton was 15, his uncle removed him from his school because he wanted to make a farmer of him. But a young Isaac was a bad farmer, and his uncle sent him to the University of Cambridge. After graduation from the university, he became a professor of mathematics and lectured at Cambridge for more than 30 years. In 1665, the Great Plague broke in England, and Cambridge was closed. Newton had to return home for 18 months. It was the most important period in his life, when he made 3 main discoveries, those of the different calculuses, of the nature of white light, and of the law of gravitation. He advanced an idea that light consisted of small particles, corpuscles. Today, the scientists call them photons. Later on, he, however, came to the conclusion that the light had a dual nature, namely, it was a combination of the corpuscles and the serial waves. Newton was also interested in the problem of what was the cause of the motion of the planets. He came to the conclusion that the force that kept the planets in the orbits round the Sun was the same force that caused objects to fall onto the ground, namely the force of gravity. A popular legend says that he made his discovery while observing the fall of an apple from a tree in his garden. But only in 1684, Newton published his famous book The Principia, in which he explained the movement of the planets and laid down the law of universal gravitation. In this book, he shares 3 important laws of motion, as we know them as Newton's 3 laws. The first one states that if there is no outside force, a stationary object will not move, and without an outside force, a moving object will not stop. The second law is the more force equals more acceleration. The third law: every action has an equal and opposite reaction. For instance, a balloon goes up and air goes down. This book made a great contribution to physics and mathematics. The publication of the Principia was compared to a sunrise, but Newton himself was always modest. Newton was not only a theorist, but a great inventor too. He invented a mirror telescope. The demonstration of the mirror telescope made a great impression on the contemporaries, and in 1672, Newton was elected a member of the Royal Scientific Society. And in 1695, Newton was appointed an inspector of the Royal Mint. There, he was in charge of coining new English money. In 1703, Newton was elected a president of the Royal Scientific Society. For the last time, he attended its meeting in February 1727. On March the 20th the same year, he died and was buried in Westminster Abbey. There is a monument to Newton in Trinity College at Cambridge with the inscription, "Newton, who surpassed all men of science."